Jiu-Jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.
Here we go. Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we have PFL superstar, the fighting pride of B-Town. It is Kenny, the Black Diamond, Mokhonoana. Kenny, how you doing, my friend?
What's the crack, boys? I love the introductions as always, man. Yeah, I'm good, man. Just finished. I'm literally outside SBG now, so yeah. Obviously, I was just saying to you, Dave just giving out there, so yeah, ready to go, yeah.
Absolutely ready to rock. Obviously, Kenny, I suppose the first thing is we haven't seen you since September of 2023. We didn't get to see you all in 2024. How frustrating was that? What were the reasons that we didn't get to see you for so long?
Yeah, so just a lot of unluckiness, just bad timing and things. Like I was signed with, I got released. I was happy about that release. So I got signed to Aries. So I tried to get onto Octagon, Cage Warriors, EFC. Well, like any promotion you can name, Brave. Like all of them, I've been in contact with them. I've had fights, just they've just not went through. Like they've tried to change weight classes, just a lot of different things. People pulling out, the usual crack. Like I'm not the only one struggling with this problem, not getting fights. But yeah, just unlucky.
And obviously with that, Kenny, like how disheartening was that? Because obviously you're coming off like the first loss of your pro career, and like you obviously want to right that wrong and get back in there and get back in that win column. How frustrating was it that, you know, you were being let down by all these promotions?
Yeah, 100%. It's frustrating. It's hard to obviously it's hard to go into camp and then you're not in camp, then you're going into camp, then you're looking again for fights. Then you're like, you agree another fight and you're like, is this guy even going to take it? You're half kind of training, you're half going on the diet, you don't know. So I've been in contact with PFL a few times as well. It didn't work out. It was like short notice fights and things like that. I couldn't take it for whatever reason. And yeah, I'm lucky to just be back and I like have a good fight to prove my level, and I'm on a big card. Like obviously it's yeah, big opportunity, and yeah, like it's been frustrating, but yeah, I know I'm lucky at the same time to be in the position right now.
Yeah, that's why we are looking forward to seeing you in action on the 25th of January. Kenny, can you tell us, when did you actually find out you're going to be fighting on this card?
It must have been like 7 weeks ago or something. It was just like, obviously I only make money when I fight, so like obviously I picked up a job like in Ballycoolan, just a factory job, and Dave rang me in the middle of my shift. He was like, ring the phone, like answer the phone, sorry. And I didn't want to answer because I'm like, oh, he's gonna be moaning that I'm not training. Because I was in one of them ruts where I was like, oh, fuck this shit. They're not giving me fights. Why am I training? Why am I going breaking myself up for training for? So Dave was ringing me, he's like, ring me. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Because there was like 8 missed calls. I was like, all right, let me ring him. I was like, just get
only 8.
About 8 missed calls and just loads of text messages, like, you know, like your bird text you on the mad thing, like. But
I'm sure Dave loves being compared to the missus, like.
Nah, but I rang it. I was like, oh fuck, let me just take the abuse I'm gonna get now, and then fucking he's just like, yeah, you have a fight. We have a fight. We accept it. It's whatever, how much and all. Like, what? I'm like, this PFL, like, and then he's like, this guy he's like telling me about the guy. I'm like, I don't know him. Like, he's like, how you don't know him? His brother plays for United or something. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't care about United. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that was it. And I just like basically a week later, I handed me notice, and then yeah, here I'm in camp. The hardest camp I've ever been to. I've been through like 100%. Like, and like I've been doing this for like 12 years. This is definitely the hardest camp that I've ever been a part of, man. Definitely, and I'm looking forward to show like a different Black Diamond than last time.
Yeah, but I suppose the biggest opportunities require the biggest sacrifices, and this one is a massive opportunity. There's a lot of limelight on this card. It's obviously been billed as Ireland versus Dagestan Part 2. You're part of that Irish squad. Do you feel any of that Ireland versus Dagestan vibes, or are you just doing Kenny?
100%. I feel that. 100%. I feel like I'm a part of the team. Obviously, I feel like I let my coaches down last time, and I wanna put on a show. I want to show them that I can do the job, because obviously it's a massive opportunity. There's so much fighters in this country as well. So I feel like to be in this position, it'll just be stupid to not take the sacrifice, make as much sacrifices, as possible, and give myself the best chance of winning the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, John Mitchell was singing your praises last week and saying how impressed he is with your skills, and obviously, Nathan Kelly's over there training there, so I'm sure you'll link up with the Irish squad when you arrive in Dubai. But I suppose the next part I want to touch on is you didn't actually know about the opponent, Ibrahimov. He's getting a massive push by the PFL. He's one of their face of the European scene. Do you think this is a massive opportunity to go in there and sort of upset the apple cart for them, and show them who the Black Diamond is instead of who this guy with the famous Manchester United footballing brother is?
Yeah, 100%. It's even all the videos I see with like Khabib chatting shit and all that stuff. Like I want to. Obviously, it's motivating for us, and especially the magnitude of the fight. It's my first time being on the main card. I obviously want to show everyone like what I'm about, and I want to go in and show like I see the hype, but I see it but when we look at his tape, we look at his fights previous, we see holes that we can exploit. I feel like people, they give him he is a good fighter, 100% has to be on my game, but I feel like he's yet to be tested yet. Like I was talking to the home yesterday, I was saying like he has seen my last fight I've been in in the thick of it. I've had to deal with adversity in my fights, and I feel like he's a virgin in that regard, you know what I mean? And I feel like he's looking, all them Dagestanis, like they just look like we're gonna smash them. But I know I'm gonna be in a 15 minutes of hell, and I don't think he's ready for 15 minutes of hell. I've been training like I said, keep saying, like cardio wise and stuff like that. Like the way Dave's pushing me, I'm doing Shark Tank rounds every 2 days. I'm ready to go through hell, and and I'm not sure about him, if he's able for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose that is one thing. Like he hasn't been the distance in a lot of his fights. I think he's only a handful of his pro fights, maybe one or two, where he's been the distance. So he's maybe more unknown in those deeper waters. But look, I think both you and him will be looking for the finish in this one. It's definitely ones that is going to have all the fans excited for, not just the Irish fans, the Dagestani fans, but I think this is a real treat, and I think it's on the main card for a reason. With that being said, obviously, you're getting this limelight from the PFL now. Is this where you want to continue on your career in the PFL? Is this where you want to make a home for yourself?
So I signed a multi-fight contract. Obviously, my biggest thing is I wanted to be active, and that kind of led up to my release, me complaining and a lot. Like I wanted at least 3 fights a year. I was a free agent for a while, and you seen how that year panned out. Like I didn't get even one fight for over a year. It's very hard. I'm not the only person. I'm not the only fighter in the country that has this problem. Being a free agent and things like that. A lot of fighters have the same problem, even at amateur or pro. But this way, like I'm definitely guaranteed 2 fights this year if I'm not in any of the tournaments. So I'm excited about that. I'll definitely be back in the mix this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we're like, just even speaking to you now, Kenny, like you seem like you're absolutely glowing, you're absolutely buzzing to get going, and we're really excited to see you back in the cage on the 25th of January, and it's also going to be on pay-per-view this time around. Kenny, like, how does it feel to be like part of a pay-per-view card? I know like we were talking about being part of Team Ireland, but like as you said, you have been in and active, like you've been in and out training camps, and now you're finally going to be able to showcase your skills once again on the 25th.
Diamonds are expensive, baby.
Diamonds are expensive.
Nah, like I said, honestly, like from the bottom of my heart, I'm lucky. As much as I work hard and all, I'm lucky to be in this position. Like there's so much top fighters in this country, like, and I'm lucky to be in this position. So like I said, like I don't want to waste this opportunity. And I feel like a lot of times, like whatever, like say if someone, like I don't know, like say if someone doesn't make weight or something, you look at them like, man, you're like, and they're in a big top fight or something, you're like, man, I wish I could be in that position, you know what I mean? And they almost wasted it. So like, yeah, I don't want to waste it, because I know, like, obviously I'm very lucky. Like, look how many Irish fighters are on the card. There's only a few of us. So yeah, I want to put on a great performance, a show, and put on the best possible performance possible. You know what I mean?
And Kenny, who's making that journey with you?
Dave Roach, John, and the home lady's going with me. He was in my corner last time, so yeah, good to have a mate there as well.
Just make sure the home doesn't keep you up too late and doesn't have you late for weigh-ins. You know what I mean? We don't want you rushing for weigh-ins.
Yeah, we keep them under control, man. Like I said, we have to deal with Dave Roach and John, so we'll be on our best behaviour.
Come here,
until after the fight, obviously.
Obviously, yeah, of course.
Speaking of that fella, will we see him anytime soon in May cage, or is he still trying to box the head off Keith Sled, or what's he doing?
I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, I'm hoping. I'm always like, bro, every week I'm like, bro, can we get a fight? Like, can we get a fight booked? Like, I know you like TikTok and all, but come on, bro.
Like, maybe he could teach you a few lessons and get those TikTok followers over you.
Yeah, he probably needs. I probably need a bit of help with that myself, but
John will get a viral KO will definitely help with the followers.
Yeah,
100% sure.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
This is also lined up to be the last Bellator show of that Bellator actually have. Like you've obviously competed a few times on Bellator. Like does it mean anything to be part of like the final Bellator show ever?
No, not really. Like I already look from December. I was just looking at the promotion like it is like PFL Bellator anyways. Like I just thought it was the same thing. Like when someone said Bellator, I just thought PFL. So it's kind of confusing. Like so, probably for the best. I wonder what's gonna happen with the titles and that. Like because they're still fighting for the Bellator title. I wonder what's gonna happen. Like it's interesting. So like I'm just like everyone else, just looking on like what's going on. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, there seems to be a touch of making it up as they go along, but like at the end of the day, as long as the big fights happen, that's what really matters. Like I think the belts are lovely, but I think they're effectively a way of making more money. So as long as the people are making the right fighters are making the big cash, and there's a clear path to improve the trajectory of your career, I think that's what people are looking for. And look, this card sort of has it all for the Irish fans anyway. You know what I mean? It has yourself, Nathan Kelly on the card, John Mitchell on the card. So Cork get someone, and you know what I mean. If they don't get someone, we have to listen to Cork moan. We don't really have that. And then we obviously have Paul Hughes from up north as well, and he's fighting for a title. So it's
can't wait for that fight as well.
Yeah, it's an absolutely massive opportunity for everyone on the card. And look, we're hoping Ireland go 4-0.
100%.
It's also good for the people that like tune in and they don't really follow MMA as much, and they're sort of like, what's like PFL, what's Bellator, what's the difference? The way they're just like, now it's a new year, they're just like making sure it's going all under the one banner. It's just easier to promote them, even for ourselves, Ross, like covering the MMA scene on Instagram, online in general, just being like, right, it's this one brand, and then that just makes it a whole lot easier for people. So at least Kenny, you're going to be looking for the PFL world title after this.
That's it. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. And I suppose Kenny, if they're doing a European tournament next year, is that what you have your sights set on?
No, like I know I'm just happy I'm guaranteed fights at this rate. Like, and I'm not looking past this fight. I'll just get past this, and then we'll see what's next. Like before my last fight, I was thinking about money. I was thinking about like everything else. my sole purpose just is to win this fight. Like that's it.
Absolutely. And anything to say to the fans of the fighting pride of B-Town?
The fans,
Yeah.
like tune in. Obviously, I'm fighting this Saturday. I am the 25th of January on a massive card, and I'm gonna make you proud. Yeah, best.
Yeah, absolutely will. Look, it's absolutely unbelievable to speak to you for this event. We love seeing you back active. We hope 2025 is as active as you want it to be, and then some. Can't wait to see you to do big things. Massive opportunity, and you know what they say: pressure makes diamonds. And you're everyone's favorite diamond, Kenny.
God bless. God bless.
Cheers to your time, Kenny, and we'll let you get on with the rest of your day, bud.
Jiu-jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.
So, Ross, that was Kenny Mokhonoana.
Yeah, he's in good form, flying form. Hopefully, him, Dave Roach, get on for that flight.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, actually, and shout out to Kenny as well. Happy birthday, bud. Huge birthday for Kenny, celebrating it in Dubai. Ross, where is the best place you ever spent one of your birthdays?
Jeez, that's absolutely a random question. To be honest, I couldn't tell you.
Tell us, man.
Don't
keep that a secret.
I honestly don't know. I don't really feel like I've had an overly memorable birthday. That was that was the one, lads.
What about your 50th?
I tend to be low key on my birthday, so take a chill, you know.
What about your 50th birthday? That was a big one.
Yeah, that was huge. That was in Vegas, and then do you remember you slapped Dana White in the head like it was gas crack?
Man, no wonder you bypass our mates anymore. But for people tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe because we are here every week. Ross, before we move into the world of UFC, we're going to have to discuss the Bellator Dubai card because, as we were saying in the build-up to the fight and the event, there's 4 Irish fighters on the card, and this is one that Irish MMA definitely has to tune in and watch.
Yeah, absolutely. You might as well start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. Obviously, John Mitchell's on the card. I think it's great to see John Mitchell on a big stage again, doing it for MMA Cork. Like, the more I think after the episode we did with him last week, the more I'm like, geez, he actually really is a pioneer for MMA Cork. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's putting MMA Cork on the map like there's no tomorrow. And I mean, obviously his gym's called MMA Cork, but I just mean Cork and MMA on the map. He probably is probably easy to say he's the best fighter ever Cork has had. So in terms of MMA, so long may it last, and like I feel like he's only getting started. So I expect him to chalk up another win on the 25th. And I think he's the main man, to be honest, down there. So long may that last.
He's probably the biggest betting favorite of the Irish fighters this weekend.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And then I suppose you have Kenny, who we just had on. I would say he's probably the biggest underdog on the card. Ibrahimov is some of the PFL are really pushing. They do a lot of social content with him. He's obviously got a lot of followers. He's part of that Dagestani wrestling culture. He's been over with, do they call it Team Eagle? Khabib's team. Training there as well in the build-up for this one. So and obviously Kenny's been on the shelf for a little bit. So I think Kenny's probably the biggest underdog, but I wouldn't underestimate him. Kenny's got some lovely chokes. He's got a lovely triangle choke off his back, some nice guillotines as well, and some nice dart chokes. So he's a real threat off his back, and I think he might have the advantage on the feet. So and he's an unbelievable athlete as well.
Like in the fight game, sometimes you get big opportunities, and these are the ones you have to take. And Kenny, this is Kenny's opportunity now. He's been on the shelf for over a year, and now he's back, and now he can come back with a bang.
Absolutely, and I think he could take this opportunity with both hands. No bother to him. Then obviously we have Nathan Kelly. Obviously Nathan Kelly was hoping to fight Magomed Sharipov, but now he's just fighting Magomed. And geez, when you say the names, like it's like, how are there so many? It's like they must be like the Murphys over in Dagestan.
Imagine in school over there just reading all that out. It's like Magomed here. It's like, no, the other one. Like 7 of them have their hands up.
Yeah, stop. No, you mean in wrestling class, not in school.
Sorry, wrestling class.
Yeah, so look, a tough opponent for Nathan Kelly, but I think the other one obviously carried a bit more name recognition. But Nathan Kelly is on absolute fire at the moment, and he's finishing everyone he's coming up against. And what a nice guy as well. I feel like he's really locked in. I feel like he has the head screwed on, and I feel like he's in a good frame of mind to really make a massive run at this next sort of Bellator 2025 campaign.
Yeah, well, yeah, Bellator, aka PFL.
Sorry,
But like,
PFL
the way Nathan is just cleaning up now, and the run he's on, it actually goes very under the radar.
It does. But I feel like this one might be different. I feel like he's on the main card of a PFL event in Dubai with a lot of eyeballs on it, and I feel like obviously the Nurmagomedov camp will have a lot of eyes on it now after Umar lost to Merab Delaphili. You know, I mean, he'll want to put a bit more respect back on the Nurmagomedov name, and I think the main event now with Paul Hughes on this one is bringing a lot of attention to the card. So I think that will have more people watching than normal for a PFL card, and I think Nathan Kelly has the skill sets and has the finishing capabilities to basically have highlighted the night, I suppose, and get the job done. Like when he had that elbow KO, that was absolutely frightening. Like, you know, we've seen some beautiful head and arm chokes from. He's just been really dominant in the PFL, and I think this is a great opportunity for him to get a highlight reel finish and make that big name for himself.
Yeah, hopefully he gets the opportunity again, Mike, after as well. Going into this, I think Nathan would be the betting favourite, but not by much.
Yeah, I think it could be close. I think he personally, he's the favourite, as in terms of I think he's the person who'll win. But like again, betting lines are based on who's betting on the actual fight, and Magomed could have a lot of people betting on him come fight night. But I still think Nathan Kelly is the man to beat in this fight. He's the A side for me.
Yeah. Also, anytime anyone's betting and they see a Nurmagomedov or a Magomedov or anything like that, you're like,
he's a good one just throwing the accumulator. But not this time.
But not this time, baby. Then Ross, you saved the main event for last.
Yeah, Paul Hughes, big news. Hughes, he is looking to become the last Bellator champion in history. Obviously, with Bellator folding now, this is a bit more monumental. It's a bit more historic. You know what I mean? He could be a trivia quiz forever. He was the last person to ever win a Bellator world title, and it will be Paul Hughes. And I think
the only ever Irishman.
Yeah, and the only ever Irishman or woman to win one. And I think if you look at Paul Hughes' mindset, you look at his capabilities, and I really think people were unsure whether Paul Hughes was at this world-class level when he was in Cage Warriors, because we've seen Cage Warriors champions go to the UFC and maybe not be as successful. We've obviously seen some go and be super successful, and you know, you're like, how will he do in that step up? And then we saw against AJ McKee that he absolutely blew him out of the water in there. And again, AJ McKee has gone toe to toe with all the best in this division. And I just think Usman Nurmagomedov might underestimate Paul Hughes to his downfall. And I think Paul Hughes is ready for it. I feel like he definitely puts in the graft. He definitely trains hard. He is super intelligent guy. His fight IQ is through the roof. And I think it's going to be very hard to look past Paul Hughes in this fight.
What would you say the betting lines of this are on this?
I would say Usman Nurmagomedov will be the favorite going into it. I think, like you said, like any sort of Dagestani name will hold a lot of weight, but the Nurmagomedov name will hold a lot of weight. We saw with Umar Nurmagomedov, he was, I think, 2-5 favorite against Merab going into that fight. You know what I mean? That Nurmagomedov like name basically means win when it comes to MMA. And at the end of the day, I think this Ireland versus Dagestan 2, there's going to be a massive amount of bragging rights riding on this one. And I think this is borderline personal without it being personal, if that makes sense. I don't think it's actually personal between Paul Hughes and Usman, but I think it's personal between Ireland and Dagestan. And you can really feel that sentiment when speaking to all the fighters over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, especially looking at all the content as well. I actually think Paul does better when he's the underdog and he feels like people are downing him as well. Because the way he came back after that, AJ McKee fight, he like really had a bee in his bonnet over people saying that he wasn't going to win that fight. And then this opportunity comes next. The one he called for, the one that was that had to be the fight. This was the fight that had to be made. It's a great way to end the life of Bellator with this fight. Like there's gonna be loads of people from Russia and Dagestan checking it out. There's going to be plenty of Irish people as well, and people in the UK going to be looking at it as well, because people like Paul really draws in people's attention. Like whether you love him or hate him, you're going to want to see. And then obviously the way Usman is undefeated, people are going to want to see him compete as well, because there could be talk of him going to the UFC next, or who knows what happens down the line with Paul. Like if he doesn't get treated the way world champion does. Who knows what happens, because people at the moment that are following the Bellators or the PFLs, like big names are leaving the company. And so it's going to be interesting to see who will go where. And like obviously a lot of these fighters are saying they want to go to the UFC. The likes of Pitbull wants to go, AJ McKee, and the list goes on. There's no point really getting into that. But that's for another show, Ross. But no, I think it's going to be really, really good for the likes of people living here in Ireland and in the UK. It's going to be on a great time as well. I say Paul will be in the cage just after around 10 o'clock maybe. So we're not staying up to like 4 or 5 a.m. the way it is with the UFC for our main card. So you can get your fix
early.
Yeah, that's so good, man. Like when you stay up for the UFC, you actually just like an absolute like shell of a person the next day. So it's going to be 5 rounds, Ross. What way do you see this one ending?
I think it's going to go the distance. I'm going to say Paul Hughes will win the decision.
Paul's saying he's going to knock him out. So what Paul says usually happens. So I'm going to go with Paul with the knockout. I feel like
I'm here for it. Like, tell us this, Baz. Obviously, Bellator has now come to an end of promotion. From 2008 to 2025 was its run time. Obviously, it's now being acquired by the PFL. What are maybe one or two of your favorite Bellator Irish moments?
For as in like the Bellator Dublins?
Well, whichever. Any sort of time there was an Irish athlete involved in the promotion that you can sort of remember and go, oh, that was cool.
How many jobs were there?
One or two. Well, it can be one.
Okay. Well, when we first started out, the first organization to give us media credentials was Bellator, and I remember going to that and then just feeling like totally like we didn't fit in. And none of the media really like even wanted to look at us either. So, and we were like right down the back. And then as the time progressed, we eventually were up the front, and then more and more people were nicer to us, because people don't want their seats getting taken these days, Ross. You know, but Bellator,
I think it's more like personal. Then, like it's more like like they were good to us to kick off, so like they helped us along our journey.
Yeah, well, the likes of like Pizzi was very sound to us when we first started out. I don't even know Noel McGrath after a while, after he like softened up. I just think that like people like the media scene.
I think Noel McGrath is always a big grumpy, but we love him all the time.
Yeah, I don't like the media scene. Like they don't see it as there's many opportunities in this scene, so they don't want to give up their seat for anyone, especially when us two come in. So that's totally understandable. But look where we are now. Like that's why I'll always thank Bellator for that, because like that was actually a really cool experience. There's something about the more not so much the fights. Like I remember the Richie Smullen fight and Reese McKee. Was that on that event?
But that was a Bama fight. Well, it was
Bama tour, yeah. But it was just that event, like the way that like the atmosphere. I was like, I hadn't ever really seen it like that. And then there's something just about when those Peter Queely entrances go off, the way the whole arena sings. It's really, really like it makes you sort of proud to be Irish, and like it makes you proud to cover the scene as well. And then his comeback against Ryan Scope, that just really that just was epic. What else?
I think the rise of James Gallagher was a big thing as well. Like seeing this young brash kid who was constantly touted as like a McGregor wannabe, like plying his trade and like racking up the wins and sort of like he was choking people out left, right, and center. I feel like that was always something that people look forward to, and like his walkout, free from desire, was always a bit iconic in its own right.
Yeah. Also, when we went to Bellator 200 in London, and snuck into the after party, that was great crack as well.
Yeah, that was really cool. We got to hang out with our mate MVP.
That was good crack.
Yeah. Like Bellator was it was like definitely a much needed secondary promotion to the UFC, and like UFC needs to be pushed by these other promotions, and I just hope PFL can sharpen up where they need to sharpen up and continue to provide an alternative home to these fighters, and like I feel like PFL seem to have been a bit, handed a few hospital passes along the way, and I feel like they actually haven't handled the hospital passes in the best manner. Like towards the end of Bellator's tenure, they gave some fighters massive contracts that were like sort of OTT compared to their previous contract, knowing that PFL were coming in to buy them over, and then PFL were like left with these massive contracts. So therefore, they're, someone like, we'll say Pitbull, for example, was probably given a contract of somewhere between 800 grand to $1 million a fight each time he fought, and then like PFL had to try and find a show to put him on, and then when you're starting a show with one fighter who's earning 800 to $1 million, and you're not selling out arenas like the UFC are, it's a pretty stuck between a rock and a hard place to like get that fighter the amount of fights that they want. Clearly, they want to fight loads of times because that's $1 million every time they fight. Yeah. So, like, there was that, and I feel like PFL never really came out and spoke about that, being like, look, some of these events aren't actually financially viable to put on. So therefore, that's why that person's not fighting every week, But I felt like their calm sometimes leaves a lot to be desired, and I feel like even the transition to Bellator, I think Ariel broke the news that Bellator is no longer, but like they haven't really come out and said that Bellator is no longer. Everyone's just sort of accepted that Bellator is no longer.
And is Don Davis still the voice? Because I don't see Dan Hardy being as vocal anymore.
It looks that way. It looks like Don Davis is still the guy, but like I don't see him as like an MMA guy. So
and he more tweets it out rather than like
or LinkedIn's it.
Or like he writes it. He doesn't actually go on a show and speak about it.
Yeah, and so I feel like they could do with getting someone more on face camera run the show, like what happened to Ray Sefo. I feel like he's sort of just like disappeared off into the wilderness. They need someone who's going to be the Frank Warren to Eddie Hearn type of thing, and someone who is like actually going to get up at the end of every PFL press conference and say a few bits. You know what I mean? And because the actual face of PFL from a management standpoint, and not Don Davis as well.
Not Don Davis, no. But like the thing is, I think Dan Hardy, when he was doing it, he like it wasn't his choices, and he was sort of just being passed on.
Yeah, he was
some information.
He was trying to sell what he was given, as opposed to he wasn't actually making the decisions or co-decision making. So I think that they need to find a charismatic, outspoken executive, effectively.
One who wears Energized glasses.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, well, like
one.
Yeah, but it's more like obviously we do a combat sports show. If people like, obviously not everyone knows about us. So like, if people are following the likes of the Bellators, soon to be PFL, and they don't really know what's going on, compared to if they knew what was going on and would want more content on that, then they could find it here. Like sort of, if I'm explaining that correctly, it's more like they need to let people know exactly what is going on. Now I know they put out this tournament but like they haven't picked fighters, and we don't know who's going to be on that yet. But that will all
That,
come.
like, that to me, that's an irrelevant announcement unless you have something to go with it. You know what I mean? It's like UFC going, yeah, we're gonna do Fight Island in July. It's like tickets are on sale now. It's like, all right, they probably sell out half the arena with that alone, but it's like, stop trying to like sell us events without telling us who's fighting. You know what I mean?
People are saying this is going to come back to Cage Warriors. People are saying stuff about Cage Warriors. Although Graham Bullen doesn't really come out and say anything. He just like announces shows, and then he starts announcing fights.
Yeah, but Cage Warriors aren't on the same scale PFL are on.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah,
even though PFL and Bellator saw them as a threat, when Cage Warriors went to the 3 Arena, they were getting all up in arms and saying like they were taking people's pictures and like saying like the arena was empty before the first fight even happened. So like obviously the arena is going to be empty. No fights are happening. So like I feel like that was sad on their behalf, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, look, we can say it how it is because like whether people like it or not, like
yeah, we've no skin in the game.
No, the only people we really care about is the fighters.
Exactly,
and their families, man.
Yeah, you better believe it. But Basmo, UFC 311.
Oh no, wrap that one up there. I think we're.
Look, just Bellator was like I said, it will be missed. Like hopefully PFL can do it justice, and I think that's sort of it, really. You know, just in terms of that going forward, hopefully we'll still see as many shows in Dublin as Bellator did. So I think Bellator were sort of doing 2 a year in their heyday. So hopefully we'll see 2 a year by the PFL, at least one. And yeah, I think look, obviously Paul Hughes is going to be a massive factor in that. But also if he is their face of the company, they're going to want him fighting in America as well. So we might be doing one in Ireland, one in America. You never know. But let's see how that fight all plays out, and then we'll have a better idea of what PFL's future in Europe will look like.
Yeah, well, if anyone from PFL is listening, like obviously if you're having Paul Hughes on the next one, you're going to have to stack with Irish fighters on the card as well for people to want to really, really tune in, or else people will just tune in for that fight and then tune back out.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, man.
And I suppose, Basmo, the UFC 311 headlined by Islam Makhachev versus Money Moicano.
Yes, Ross. When we were breaking it down last week, it was originally meant to be a rematch of Islam Makhachev against Arman Tsarukyan. The day before the fight, Arman had to pull out due to a back injury. If anyone watched that face-off that Arman and Islam had, it looked like Arman shot the bed. But, Ross, as you said, Islam Makhachev defeated Money Moicano in the main event and has now defended the UFC lightweight title 4 times, which is a record. Ross, what do you want to see next from Islam Makhachev?
I think I want to see Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. I think he's sort of almost rumored to be fighting Volk next, but I feel like I want to see Volk almost beat someone else first to get like that under his belt and go in against such a heavy hitter like Topuria. I feel like we have that narrative now from the co-main event that Merab Jashvili, the Georgian, has now gone and beaten the Dagestanian, and now we can have Georgia versus Dagestan too, with Ilia Topuria coming up in weight class against Islam Makhachev. And I feel like there's a lot of similar narratives in terms of stardom that Ilia Topuria has gained, that Conor McGregor gained, going from featherweight up to lightweight. And I feel like he's gained this sort of superstardom. He's one of the biggest stars in the sport right now. The way like Sergio Ramos walks out with him to the weigh-ins, the welcome that he got at the Bernabeu, UFC collabing Instagram posts with Real Madrid. These are all things that like are next level superstar that like none of the other champions have managed to amass. And I think that with that being said, I think Islam's obviously the pound for pound number 1 at the moment. And what would say Ilia's at least top 5, I would say sort of top 4, like maybe even top 3. I think it's like sort of Islam, John Jones, Pereira, and Ilia. I feel like those 4 are probably ahead of everyone at the moment. And I think, look, the winner that could easily make claim to be the pound for pound number one in the world.
Who would you rather? So you'd rather see Islam Makhachev fight against Ilia Topuria?
Yeah.
For some reason, I think that I'd rather see Islam fight Bilal Muhammad and see if he become champ.
Yeah, well, Islam and Bilal are best mates, and they've already said they're not going to fight each other. So that real
look,
stuff now. No, here's the one. Islam said he could go up and fight Dricus Duplessis. How would you feel about that one?
Yeah, why not? It's not going to happen, but it's. I've never seen someone go up like sort of 2 weights for a title.
Yeah, but if anyone could be Islam, no.
Yeah, but is that definitely not happening? He's like, I'm not fighting Bilal Muhammad, no.
Yeah. Out of the question, but
that's a pity. Then Ross, in the co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili, your doppelganger, defeated Umar Nurmagomedov.
Just the same nose, bud. Just the same nose.
same world title. World title. Defeated Umar Nurmagomedov, gave Umar his first ever loss. Ross, what do you make of the rise of Merab Dvalishvili, and what would you like to see him do next?
I feel like he was maybe the biggest winner of the night, because not only did he beat Umar as an underdog, I also feel like even the way Umar was like trying to take him down at times, and he was like sort of goading him and like showboating to like, you could see photographers from the front row, and he was like, Umar had his hands around his waist, and he was like, this guy can't take me down. And like, he set GSP's record. He got 7 takedowns against the Dagestani, and the Dagestani only got 2. So like, I feel like Merab is definitely now in the conversation for the bantamweight GOAT. Like, he's beat Jose Aldo, he's beat Sean O'Malley, he's beat Henry Cejudo, he's beat Nurmagomedov, he's beat Piotr Yan. Like, he's beat like the who's who of bantamweight. And I suppose you're sort of looking at it and going, who's actually next for this guy to fight? Like, you sort of go through the list, and you're like, Sean O'Malley looks like he's sort of lurking around for a rematch, even though like, I think like if they fought again, Merab would beat him, except like better. Obviously, like, I don't think they're going to do an Umar rematch. Like, they're not going to give Sandhagen a title shot. Like, Yan is probably the next viable challenger, even though Merab's already beaten him. Like, he's sort of cleared out the division in his own right.
And the thing is as well, he obviously, like, after fighting at the UFC Noche, and he was the main event there in the Sphere against Sean O'Malley, and then fighting in this event, and he's the co-main. He's going to want to be a main event again.
Yeah, well, like, I think what's done wonders for him in this fight as well. Like, I feel like he has like a better relationship now with Dana White. So I feel like he was a bit strained, that relationship, and I feel like that relationship.
Was it over?
I think he was showing
because he beat Sean O'Malley.
No, he was showing he had like a massive cut in the build up to the O'Malley fight, and then I think he said something about having like staph infection and something like that. And Dana was like, Dana then gets blown up in like, is this fight going to be called off? Is this fight going to be called off? And then like, Dana was like, why would you show that? Like, that was just silly. Yeah. So I think that's where the issues lie. But personally, I think Yan deserves the fight after beating Figueiredo, because I would have thought, like, prior to the Figueiredo fight, I would have said Figueiredo's probably next for title shot. But I think the UFC is going to go with Sean O'Malley, to be honest.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
But even though he's coming off the loss against him,
it's the biggest money fight.
Yeah. I think, Merab would probably want to go for the money more. Although, like, Yan, as you said, fair play to Yan getting back into title contention, because it looked like he was going to be cut at one stage. Yeah,
big time. He's really turned it around. So,
yeah. So then, Ross, Yuri Prochazka defeated Jamahal Hill. You saw that happening, yeah?
Yeah. Yuri Prochazka like pinged him around for 2 rounds, and then got him out there in the third. It was just all one-way traffic. Thought Jamahal Hill actually looked a bit out of shape for my liking. But yeah, Yuri Prochazka looked cerebral in there. He just had him on the back foot for the entire fight, and for me, like I thought it was sort of obvious going into a fight that it was going to happen, but like it's always easier to say that after the fact. But I think Yuri Prochazka is now the front runner to be the number one contender at light heavyweight, despite the fact he's lost twice to Alex Pereira. And I think like that's probably his next fight, the winner of Pereira versus Ankalaev.
And who do you think is going to win between Pereira and Ankalaev?
Even though like my head says Ankalaev has all the skills to get the job done, I just can't really look past Pereira. So I'd say Pereira.
I want Pereira to win. I think everyone wants Pereira to win. Like Ankalaev, they haven't really promoted Ankalaev like in any sort of way. I think it wasn't because he drew against Jan Blachowicz for the heavyweight title, and they're like, right, you two lads are not fighting again for the title. We're getting two new lads.
Go over to share Jamal Hill.
Absolutely ruthless, mate. Then Ross, Jonathan Almeida won as well on the main card. What do you make of Jonathan Almeida, and where do you see him going in 2025?
See, if John Jones didn't exist, I'd say Jonathan Almeida versus Tom Aspinall next for the heavyweight title. That's what I'd probably say. But I don't know, like, does he rematch Curtis Blades in the future, maybe? Does he fight Volkov? Does he fight Sergey Pavlovich? I feel like they're the sort of he's in that. I think he's like one more win away from effectively fighting for the belt, but it's more. I feel like John Jones and Aspinall just need to be moved along. Otherwise, that division, like, people are like fighting for a bridesmaid spot, effectively.
Yeah, book that fight, Dana, will you? Then Ross, Renier the Ritter defeated Kevin Holland.
Yeah, no, much better performance this time out than it was in his last. He seems to have got the UFC jitters out of the way. Look, I feel like he's going to be someone who's a hard matchup in that middleweight division. I could definitely see him next in there against maybe a Robert Whittaker, who was funny enough training with Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
I think it's a good matchup. I think like a win there for Rob would do like wonders for him in that division, and I think a win for De Ridder would sort of have maybe one more win away from getting into that title shot conversation.
And then is there anything else you want to say about the card, Ross? Especially the way you were shouting out Peyton Talbot as well, just because he has his belly button pierced.
Yeah, and he lost. So
Mate, like,
shout out to Barcioles, who got the job done, the veteran. Obviously, I wrote him off too soon. So there we go. There's one hype train that's slightly come off the tracks.
Okay, Ross. For the people tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. As we said, the UFC is going to be back on the 1st of February. Israel Adesanya is going to be taking on Nasruddin Imavov. Ross, what do you make of Israel Adesanya being besties with Robert Whittaker now?
Yeah, I think it's good for them. I don't want to see them really fight again at another time. So, like, they might as well be mates. They're both from the same region. They're both massively propping up that region in terms of star power. So, yeah, why not? And I think the two of them are at a stage now where they could definitely help each other advance and stay towards the upper end of that division. Yeah,
make sure to watch out for that podcast coming out as well soon. And also the next pay-per-view will be UFC 312. Drix Du Plessis is taking on Sean Strickland for the second time. That's going to be going down February 8th. So the UFC is back, baby. And also it's 7 weeks until UFC London. But Ross, before we get into the world of Irish MMA, over the weekend, Paddy the Baddy took on Ireland's own Dennis Frimpong in Manchester Top Team's gym. This fight ended in the first round. First of all, do you know the backstory of this fight? And also, what do you think of the fight?
Yeah, I think basically the backstory came from, I'd say a touch of the way Dennis treated Jake, is it McHugh? Is that how you say? And George Staines on Octagon England versus Ireland. First of all, I think like obviously Dennis was doing a lot of pranks on these. Paddy was sort of calling it bullying, and then obviously Dennis Frimpong fought his last fight, got like a last minute replacement. Looks like they plucked some young fella off the street, and Frimpong pinged them around the place. It just looked bad for Frimpong taking the fight, but obviously Frimpong wanted to be paid as well. So like it's you're sort of stuck being a rock in a hard place. So
There's
there's
the
a bit of,
matchmakers to make the fight, like.
yeah, and I think like sometimes Frimpong's tongue in cheek online. Sometimes he's like, yeah, like people don't know whether he's being serious or not. And like I think Dennis was saying like, oh, I'm just levels above this guy. And it was like, well, like I think anyone's levels above that guy, type of thing. And I think it just rubbed up Paddy the wrong way. And then we saw Dennis do a call out video of Paddy. And then I think Paddy showed one of his friends like rubbing Dennis's like Frimpong's gum shield off like genitalia, and it seemed to get like worse and worse and worse, more spiteful. So then they
That was
agreed to
harsh,
have-
by the way, doing that.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah,
like,
no, I'm definitely not here for that. That's definitely
No.
below the belt. Excuse the pun.
literally.
And then Paddy, I think they were trying to arrange a date, and then Paddy was on holidays for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it went down in Manchester top team. And look, the fight was on the feet. Paddy was sort of getting a few leg kicks in. Like I don't think anyone did any major damage on the feet. And then Frimpong threw, I think it was left hook. Paddy got the takedown and then got on top and choked Dennis out. Dennis tapped out, and it is what it is. Hopefully the beef is now squashed.
Yeah, but Paddy didn't let go once Dennis started tapping, though.
But I think it wasn't like an MMA fight. I think it was supposed to be like a. I think they said it in the build up to one of us goes unconscious type thing. So like they
Really,
just
yeah.
took that word for word. So
Lewis McGrinnan jumped in anyway.
yeah. So look,
That was
it
pretty-
was what it was. At the end of the day, I suppose it helped Dennis get his name out there, and I suppose it just goes to show if you're going to open your mouth to Paddy the Baddy, you better be there to back it up.
Yeah, and then Dennis then signed with Octagon.
He did, yeah. So I think it's a bit of a funny one because obviously Dennis had back and forths, and I think he's like bad mouthed Octagon, but obviously they will see some value in him, and at the end of the day, he does build hype for his own fights quite well. So he's definitely a unique character, and we're gonna see how this plays out for him. So hopefully he gets the fights he's looking for, and hopefully he can be active, because I think that's the overall thing. I think he's his issues. He's had a lot of people pull out on him, and let's see him get in there with some real opponents.
Yeah. Also, he seems to be a father as well, so hopefully everything goes according to plan for Dennis in 2025. Ross, speaking of going to plan, Will Fleury, who won at the last Octagon in December and became the Octagon light heavyweight champion, is now going to be fighting for the Octagon heavyweight title on March 8th. Ross, Will Fleury looking to become the first ever Irishman to become, well, champ in Octagon.
Yeah, of course. He's fighting the number 1 ranked heavyweight in Octagon, Todev, I think his name is. I think he's 11-6. I think he's Bulgarian. Yeah, I think Will Fleury has the skill set definitely to be able to do it. He's got great takedowns, good on the mat. I assume that's where he's probably going to take the fight. Not that I think he'd be afraid to have it on the feet. And I think Will's probably going to walk around that 230 mark, and maybe even weigh close to 240. I just hope he doesn't try and put on too much weight, and then it slows him down, or like makes him gas out that bit earlier. Because he looked really, really good in the last fight against Vermola. But I fully believe Will Fleury will be able to become champ.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Before we wrap things up, there's just some fights in the Irish MMA scene that are coming up that you're definitely going to have to make sure to tune in and watch. Your Fighting Championships is back on February 23rd. If you didn't see it on our Instagram, we were collabing with the pro fights and the title fights. Just ones to watch out for is Aaron McDonald is going to be taking on Jake Gilpin in a professional fight, catch weight of 74 kilos. Then Lewis Byrne is taking on Alex McCook in featherweight division. And then Kieran Brady is going to be taking on Georgi Grozov in the bantamweight. Ross, thoughts on them fights?
Well, I just think the Georgi Grozov and Kieran Brady one is like such a high level fight. It could easily be on Cage Warriors. It could easily be on Octagon. It could be easy on NFL. And you're getting over the line. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest fights of the year, and I think it's definitely going to be the biggest bantamweight domestic fight we get of the year. Anyway, I know we'll probably touch on some of the other promotions and what they've announced, but that for me is definitely going to finish the year as a top 3 best fights booked of all year, I think, in terms of on Irish soil.
Yeah. Then Cage Conflict on March 8th has now announced their main event. It's going to be Brian Manning against Sean McCormack in the middleweight division. Ross, this is a huge matchup for Cage Conflict.
Yeah, like it's a bit like you were like, this is what we have in the Cage Conflict. Like, yeah, well, we see this and we give you this back. You know what I mean? This is a huge fight. Obviously, Brian Manning, main event Manning, as he's now calling himself, going into enemy territory. No better vehicle to do it. And he's going in there against Sean McCormack, who not only will be looking to get his hand raised, I think he'll be looking for a spot on the Cage Warriors card in April with a win here. And no doubt about it, he could definitely get it. He's a big boy. He went back and forth with Oban Elliott, and he went toe-to-toe with him. So we know he's at a high level as well. So I think this is an unbelievable fight. I think we'll also see the likes of Nadine Abbott-Bissett on that Cage Conflict card as well, and Graham Sheehan. So there's more pro fights to be added on that Cage Conflict card as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, for that main event, like Brian Manning was saying that he's been in contact with Cage Warriors and Octagon, amongst others, and then Sean obviously fighting on Cage Warriors before. I think like the winner of this will definitely be fighting on a bigger show next. So it's a huge opportunity for both lads, and we look forward to tuning in and covering the event as well. And then just before we wrap things up, Ross, Clan Wars March 22nd, they've announced Lethal Shay Latham is taking on Jamie McCafferty for the welterweight title. So more fights will be followed on that, but they're big fans of Jamie McCafferty. But
yeah, they are. He seems to sell a lot of tickets. He seems to make a lot of noise. So, and look, I'm here for that. So shout out to all 3 promotions putting on absolutely fantastic shows, and some brilliant top billing from all 3 promotions. So I'm looking forward to them. Irish MMA is alive and kicking.
Exactly. So as we said, this weekend Bellator Dubai is on Saturday the 25th. Also, fans, if you're fans of bare knuckle fighting as well, BKFC is back, and Jeremy Stevens, who the fuck is that guy, is taking on Eddie Alvarez. So make sure if you're watching that, listen out for Eddie Alvarez's wife shouting in the background, Eddie, the man, jeez. But Ross, another absolutely stunning episode.
You better believe it. I can't wait for PFL Road to Dubai Champion Series. It's going to be an epic one. I love it. You love it. If you love the Energized Show, make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Tell us how much you love us. And as always, stay energized.
Jiu-Jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.